So today I was talking to a friend, and it was actually yesterday, and she asked about my spiritual journey. So I thought I would share. Um, so my spiritual journey, I started, probably about 30 years ago, and I was looking for that connection. So my mother-in-law at the time, she was quite religious, and she worked in the hospice as a counsellor, and the hospice was run by nuns. So she took me to this like day retreat where it was a nunnery, and it was the first time I'd heard people talking and singing in tongues. Didn't know anything about that, and it sounded very angelic. It was lovely, and I felt it, but I knew religion wasn't for me in that sense. But I did feel the vibe. Like, I'll go into a cathedral now and a church, and there's some that are just wrap you in love, and there's others I don't really get anything from. So that was that. So I then a friend of mine was doing Reiki. There was a Reiki course, and Reiki was about healing, and I thought, oh yeah, I fancy a bit of that. And it wasn't really mainstream then. It is more mainstream now. You can find it in doctors' surgeries now. Someone doing Reiki on people. Anyway, but what Reiki does, it opens you up spiritually, because you're allowing the power to come in. So that's what happened to me. So I did the Reiki 1, I did the Reiki 2, and then I did the Reiki 3 Masters. And when I did the Reiki 3 Masters, you have like an attunement ceremony. And all I saw was angels. And I'm like, wow, I've never seen an angel before. And that's all I saw. And I just knew with every being of me that is where I needed to be, working with angels. In what capacity, I had no idea. But I don't worry about the whys. I just follow. I know when I'm guided, and I follow it, because I know everything will unfold. So, and that's trust, that is trust. But I think once you've got the feeling, you know that it's the higher power that's leading you. So, it's going to turn out all right. You know that. So anyway, I then thought, I don't know anyone that does angels, because again, I'm now treading this path alone. There's a pattern here that I seem to, be with people with the Reiki, and then suddenly I branch out and I'm this maverick who's going rogue. So I'm like, right, okay, angels, don't know anybody. So I thought, there is a lady in America called Doreen Virtue. She sold millions of books and all that. Oh, I'll reach out to her. And I did. And she replied. Of course she did. And she said, sorry, I am no longer doing angel courses, because I just wanted to know more, you see. I wanted to go on a course to learn more. I think that's the teacher in me. You go on courses to learn, but you've got to utilise these learnings, And so I went... so she said, no, I don't. But because she's based in Hawaii, she was based in Hawaii then. So she covers that side of the world. But my son Charles is coming to London in, I think it was 3 months. Oh, right. Okay. So I was on it, London College of Psychic Studies in South Kensington, and applied for the course. Money was tight at that time. And money was tight. And I think that was round the 2008, 2009 recession. That's another story. So I thought, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And then a friend of mine, I thought, I can't afford to pay for the course and stay in London for, I think it was 3 days, and the train ticket. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Anyway, a friend of mine said, oh, I used to live in London. Well, I lived in London, but I lived in Southgate, darling. I lived in the posh part. Of course I did. So she lived in London, and she actually lived in Kensington, but she lived in what is now like a youth hostel, but it's not a youth hostel. Well, you know, I've been on so many residentials with kids. I don't mind sharing a bathroom. I don't, if, you know, if I have to, I don't mind just a basic bed as long as I'm warm and it's clean. And so this place in South Kensington is like a youth hostel, and they accept school groups, but they have single rooms and they're for the teachers. So I rang them up, and it was an incredibly cheap price for London. And it was literally about 7 doors down from where I was actually, the London College of Psychic Studies. That was meant to be, wasn't it? So I knew I was on the right course. So I get there. Charles Virtue, lovely guy. He was training to be a doctor, and then his life, he was diverted to do angel stuff, and he resisted it. He didn't want to do what his mum did. He wanted to be a doctor. And but it's funny how life works, because when you get the nudge, you really don't have a choice, you know. Yeah, come on, get with it. Come on. So I arrived, I was excited. There were people from all over the world: Mauritius, Dubai, Australia, Canada, 4 people from the UK, France, Germany, the Netherlands. I mean, multinational. And then he was talking. He's a very shy man, a very nice man, a very authentic man. And one of the ladies was putting her hand up, you know, and she said, "Oh, when I invoke Archangel Michael," well, first of all, I didn't know what the word invoke meant. So I'm sat there like, what does she mean? And then another one said, "Oh yes, when I channel Jesus." And I'm like, you what? You channeled Jesus? What is happening right now? So I went to him at the break time and I went, "I'm so sorry, I'm on the wrong course." And he said, "Well, this is the, you know, learn how to teach angels course." And I said, "Well, I am a trained teacher, so I don't need to know how to teach. What I need to know is angels. I know nothing. I absolutely know nothing. I've had one experience and I know I need to work with them, but I haven't had all these experiences. I can't even channel. I don't know what they're talking about." And he just laughed. He laughed at me and he said, "We need people like you." He said, "We need people that are grounded, that can identify with the majority of the population." He said, "Because those people are lovely people, but do you think they can talk to most people about angels?" And I was like, "Okay, I get that, but I still don't know anything about angels." And he said, "Oh, that's the easy bit. All you have to do is ask." I went, "What do you mean?" So he said, "All you have to do is ask." And so I did. So I finished the course and I asked for every experience. I asked to see feathers. Well, I'd already seen feathers, to be fair. But, you know, sometimes you think, is it a baby bird? Is there a nest, you know? But then when you see a feather floating down in your car like this, in your car, you're like, there ain't no bird's nest in here. So you're like, oh, okay, all right. Then you hear songs on the radio and they're telling you things. Then you hear things like a friend will say something and you'll go, "I was just thinking about that." And it's that. There's so many signs. And then the clouds was a big one for me. I wanted to see the angel shapes in the clouds. I wanted to see the hearts. I wanted to see different things, you know, like faces. And I asked and I got. And I even saw Archangel Michael one day. So, yeah, and another person was with me at the time and I'm like, "Can you see what I can see?" And I took pictures and yes, I can. Right. Okay. So it's not me. No. Because you do think you're making it up. You do think, because you're very humble and you're very like, why me? Like, really? Can I really connect with the angelic realm? Because it's quite overwhelming when you really get it. You're like, wow, this is another world, and I'm able to connect and communicate. Wow. So that's kind of my spiritual side, and then I went into healing, but that's another video.